Hi everyone, I am Jemimah Wei and I'm here with Vogue Singapore to talk about reading, writing and the journey to my first novel, The Original Daughter. So today we are at the Projector, which is Singapore's oldest and most iconic independent theatre. Spaces like this, independent bookstores, independent theatres, they're so precious because they are an individual expression, a space where people can come and curate their own vision of what the world is through art, through film, through books. I've always loved independent bookstores and independent theatres. When I did a research trip to New Zealand, which also features in the book, I was spending a lot of time in independent theatres there. In fact, that becomes a very big setting in the book. The moment when I shifted to thinking maybe I could be an author was when I met the Malaysian author Tash Orr. He came to Singapore to do a masterclass, and I remember being in that classroom, listening to him talk about reading and writing, and he being from our region, it just kind of like shifted my perspective a little bit. I was like, wow, it is within the realm of possibility. And I think after that was when I very seriously started to look into how I could shift my work and my life to center writing a little bit more. So The Original Daughter is something I've always thought about as a really unromantic love story. I'm really drawn to the idea of chosen family and what relationships we keep and make important to us even when circumstances are difficult. The question of home to me is a question that comes up a lot for me in my writing because physically I'm not always in Singapore, but my heart and my emotional reality is very much grounded in Singapore. I was talking to this writer, Chandreyee Ray, who is a Korean-American writer, he was like, I'm not really based anywhere. I go where the writing needs me to go. I am open to wherever life takes me, but home for me emotionally does feel very much like Singapore. And I find it like a real privilege to be able to inscribe into my literary work imprints of home, because if we don't do that, the only representation we have of our home will be the stories other people tell of us. And so for me, the way that manifests is in like all kinds of ways, right? The novel is set in Singapore. It deals with very Singaporean characters and concerns, but I also just had fun with it. I name drop my friends' parents' businesses. I named the school after my husband. I was like, you can do whatever you want in fiction and I'm gonna do it. Growing up, I didn't know that I could finish a book. You don't know that you can until you actually do it, and then as part of the yes end of that, it's like I didn't know if there was a reality for me where I could have a book out in the world and be a published author in that sense. And so it was, hard and lonely, but I did my own version of that where I was like, I'm just gonna manifest it. I started making these name cards, which is basically a bootleg Penguin Random House name card, pretending that I am an author, and I gave them out to everybody. And it feels so full circle because I am published in the US now by Penguin Random House Doubleday, which feels amazing. The moment when I received my edits in the mail were really special. My editor is really old school. She printed out everything and edited it by hand, and then she FedExed it to me, which felt so incredible. I'll show you. So these are my first edits, where you can see that she has marked it up in pencil. I am currently reading Mother by Kaveh Akbar. He blurbed The Original Daughter, which was such a dream for me. I'm in such admiration of his poetry and now his prose. And next up on my reading list is a friend's book, Juno Chong's I Leave It Up to You. So I'm really, really excited to read it. And I think part of the really cool thing about being an author now is just knowing other authors and being able to hype each other up and be really excited that we all get to do this together. And it feels like amazing to be able to be holding the contents of a friend's heart and soul in my two hands. Thank you so much for having me, and I hope you love the book. Bye!